the nice folks at the Great River Regional Library System up in St. Cloud. And as part of the reopening celebration that they're having in 2 weeks, they asked me to be a part of that, to have this appraisal event up there. And that brings my total of these events just in 2016 to 136 of these programs that I've done. So, I think one of the reasons that they have been so wildly popular is that people like the fact that this is not a shopping trip for me. I never offer to buy or sell on a commission at any of these programs. And I think people like that. They know that I'm not here looking to pick up a bargain and turn around and sell it and make money on it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what an antique dealer does. I am not an antique dealer. I am an appraiser only. So these events that I do at libraries and historical societies and senior communities all around the Midwest, and the house calls that I do are all that I do. And the house calls help me pay for the gas and the food and the occasional hotel room, and it also makes the programs more affordable for my hosts. So again, please feel free to take one of my cards and see when I'll be back in the area. I have many, many more programs coming up in 2017 in Minnesota already. And if you do have things that you want to sell, I'm always happy to point people in the right direction, either to a good local or regional auction house. I have dealer and collector contacts, and sometimes it's one of my colleagues on Antiques Roadshow. And as you may know, I am on Antiques Roadshow. I was back on the 2016 tour. I was on the last stop on the tour this summer in Salt Lake City. Never been to Salt Lake City. It's a fun town. Tough to get a drink there, but it's a good town. No, you can get a drink just about any time you want in Salt Lake City. But Salt Lake City was the last of 6 stops on the 2016 tour for Roadshow. They do 6 stops a summer, and in just a couple months they'll be announcing the 2017 tour, which is their 22nd anniversary of the American version of the show. I love being on Roadshow. I love being part of the gang, but I can really only afford to do 1 or 2 stops a summer, mainly because I'm already booked doing this. They've invited me back every year since 2010, and last year I wasn't able to join them because I was completely booked doing this. But I love doing Roadshow, but as you may know, we don't get paid to be on Antiques Roadshow, and we have to pay all our own travel expenses. So what do we get? We get the visibility and credibility of being part of a wonderful program. Not a day goes by that I don't get a phone call or an email as a result of being listed on their website. And we get to be on TV. That's fun. So we'll talk more about Roadshow during the program today. And there are links to all of my videos on Antiques Roadshow from my webpage, which is right there on the screen. So people often ask how I got started in this crazy line of work. Like many of you, I began as a collector back in the 1970s. In the 1980s, I was a part-time dealer. My full-time job was I was a newspaperman. I was a reporter and editor for papers, first over in Green Bay, and then for most of my career, just 40 minutes away at Rochester at the Post-Bulletin for about 30 years. But I was always involved with antiques and collectibles, either as a part-time dealer or working at auction houses or antique shows. In the 1990s, I started writing antique reference books part-time, and I quit the newspaper business to write the books full-time in 2002. So I've written 27 books on various antique and collectible categories, all of which are out of print. So the books I wrote on antiques and collectibles have themselves become collectible, which is not anything I ever expected to have happen. But no matter how many of these events I do, I never know how much I know until I'm presented with a question or a puzzle or a challenge. So let's see how much I know.
Yeah, it's called sympathy.
So where how did you get this?
I just bought it at a house.
Okay, at a house sale?
Yeah, $8.
Okay.
And it's a
Okay.
Yeah, and I see that it is like, maybe it's a print, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I say it's beautiful.
It is beautiful, and it's in excellent condition.
And I left it just the way it was in the back,
Yep.
and so forth.
Yeah, it's a little toned,
Yeah.
I mean, I think once upon a time the paper probably would have been whiter, but one of the reasons for the toning is this, it's got the original cardboard on the back here, and that should be removed and thrown away.
Yeah. Okay.
And take it to a good framer and have them replace it with foam core, which is a thin sheet of styrofoam with paper on either side.
Right.
They'll cut it to fit, and it'll stop the toning process. It looks like it has a signature here.
Yeah, that's
Knowles hair.
Yeah.
And it's probably
It's
1930s or maybe even early 40s.
Theron, I think, found it on on her thing. Older than that. How old was Theron?
No, it's
How old was Knowles?
1930s.
What year was it?
30s.
Yeah.
It was a 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Mark.
Yeah, see, I do this for a living.
I can hear
Yeah,
that.
okay. And you know, it's in excellent condition, other than the fact that it's a little bit toned. Now, it's a lithograph. I'm going to look at it real closely here.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually a photomechanical print.
Okay,
If you look at it
I
very
know it's a
closely,
print.
if you look at it, but I mean, if it was a lithograph, it would have been a different printing process. If you look at it real closely under a magnifying glass, it's you can see a really fine dot pattern, a dot matrix, and that means that it's a picture of a picture. So they took the original drawing or etching and photographed it in such a way so that they could make multiple copies of it.
When you look close, it almost looks like a window shade in the background.
Yeah, it does. It's a very fine. The matrix is very, very fine. It's very difficult to see.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Now there he is right there on the screen. Look at him.
Yeah, there he is.
Yep, John Knowles hair, and it's called Sympathy.
Yep.
The top price on this database is $100. When did that sell for? 2011.
Yeah.
How big is this one? Let's see how big it is.
Oh, it's big.
12 by 9. Well, this is much bigger than this one. This is the one that sold. But I think this may have been actually signed in pencil by John Hare, whereas that's printed. It's not a real signature.
Looks good to me.
It does look good, doesn't it? So, do you remember what you paid for it?
About $8.
About $8.
Yeah.
Here's another one, very similar to yours. How big is this one? 27 1/4 by 21 3/4. So that's this size.
Okay.
That's this size. Yeah, there we go. That's about 20. That's about 25. So this one sold for $70. So I would say if you could get $70 for it, that would be a fair price
I'd
today.
never sell them.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you.
Okay, that was fun.
That was nice of you.
I have a signed baseball card.
Signed baseball card.
Well, this is baseball season, so
Yes.
you know, and way to go Cubs. How about that? How about yay Cubs? So here, this is a Don Russ card from 1991, 25 years old, and it's of Ryne Sandberg. I remember him. You know, he was a Cub a few years back. So absolutely, and it's autographed. How do you come to have this?
It's been in my dad's collection.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's just see. Now, the thing with, especially all sports memorabilia, but most specifically with baseball cards, is it's gotten down to where they look for how the image is placed on how it's printed and how it's, and if it's centered and if there's any wear or tear or anything. This is a great holder, by the way, to have it in.
Thank you.
Very good. Now there is a signed rookie card in color. That looks like might be a rookie card there. $10. There's another one signed, but not very well. There's another one for $1. There's one for $20. Now so he was a rookie in '83. Wow. $20. There's a whole collection. Let's see how many. Let's start with the highest first.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, game worn jersey from an All-Star game. $6,500. Do you have one of those?
No.
No? Okay.
I threw it in the wash.
Oh,
It got-
darn.
Yeah.
Good answer, though. That's a good answer. Here are six assorted. I think these are signed cards. And see, they've all been graded. They've been sent off to a grading service. And there's Sandberg right there. Probably also from '83. So the whole group of these sold for, I think it was $180. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say, you know, now because of the Cubs win finally, and because of you know, it's fairly recent history, 25 years old. But I would still say probably $30 or $40 would be the top price for it today. But you know, hold on to it.
Keep it
Tell
for
tell
another
Dad.
25
That's
years.
right. Absolutely. Well, I would say give it another 100 years,
Okay.
and then
Great.
yeah, see what it's like then. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Britt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty thing. So it's actually, it looks like a photograph of a carving of a heron and standing in some reeds. Oh, what a wonderful image. Well, what do you know about it?
Nothing. It was
Okay.
in the attic of our house.
Okay. Age is about 1880. It's what's the design on the frame, which is all, you know, shallow carved and then gilded. That's kind of an Eastlake design. So, but what I find interesting is the fact that this background here is all hand decorated. That's all colored by hand. That's red ink and pencil. Yeah, that's all painted by hand. But it's actually a photograph of a carving. So I have a feeling that it would have been one of a series. There may have been a group of these carvings that would have been photographed, mounted on this board. There's a little bit of water staining, but not too bad. Overall, I think the condition is great. I want to look at the back, though. These are the original cedar boards.
Okay.
The same thing goes for these as went for the cardboard. Should be removed and thrown away, because they have chemicals they have in them that are migrating into the paper, that are toning and weakening and discoloring it. And again, they should be removed. Have a piece of foam core cut at from the local framer to fit in here. Very nice. You may even, you know, the frame is gesso on wood. That's just plaster. And then they cut through it and gilded it. Overall, it's not in bad shape. There's just some chipping which you would expect of a plaster-covered wood frame like that. Very nice. Very nice. I would say if you saw it in an antique shop, probably $30, $35.
Very good.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's very pretty. How did this come into your life?
My daughter, a friend of hers, her mother died. And
Uh-huh.
they were cleaning out, and she was helping her.
Okay.
And she saw this and said, "Well, how much do you want it for?" And we said, "Well, you're helping. You just take it."
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah,
So on Mother's Day, here she come with it.
oh, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
That story is worth more than the picture.
It's a painting. It's got to be worth $5.
Well, it's what it is it's a photomechanical print. It's printed on textured paper to make it look like it's a real painting.
Okay.
But if you run your hand over it, you can feel that there's no what they call impasto, which is the weight of the paint on a surface, on a canvas or on a board, and it's just perfectly smooth. So as a photomechanical print, a wonderful big nautical scene. These are the kinds of pictures that they would have sold at furniture stores.
Okay.
And so when you went in to buy your living room suite, you would get a sofa-sized picture to go with it. And that's what this is. So it's a photomechanical print. There's a signature down there.
From the artist.
Yeah, yeah.
17.
It might be. It looks like 1838. Maybe the original McGregor looks like the name. But in this case, because it's a photomechanical print, even though it's in fabulous condition, less than $25.
No kidding.
Yeah. But it's the thought that
Now,
counts.
if you said 75, he
Yeah.
said 50.
Okay. Nope. Less than 25. It's just, on sometimes on Antiques Roadshow, we talk in code.
Yeah,
And one of the code phrases we use is, well, it has decorative value.
yeah, it does.
Decorative value rather than monetary value.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and the Mother's Day story was worth a lot more anyway.
It definitely
Okay.
was.
Oh, books. I love books. I see so many wonderful books. But this is
Gene Stratton Porter First Edition.
Tales You Won't Believe. Oh, what a whopper. This is what the one cardinal is whispering to the other. Gene Stratton Porter. Now, how do you come to have this?
I got it at an auction, I think, in a box of, well, the biggest prize was my first edition Little Town on the Prairie book.
Okay.
But this was in there also.
Okay.
Another book, yeah.
Well, copyright 1925, Gene Stratton Porter. So 23, 24, 25, printed in the United States. First edition. Gene Stratton Porter was quite a lady. She spelled her first name the way a man spells his name, Gene. But she was a wonderful author, kind of forgotten now. She was from Minnesota, right? Wasn't she?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought she was.
I don't know much about
Let's
it.
just see. Now, I have a feeling that this may have had a dust jacket,
Yeah.
and there's some residue there. Today, if you watch Roadshow, you know how much we love the boxes. It's the same thing with books. They have to have their original dust jackets to really be very valuable. So I'm going to set this right here so everybody can see it. Now, because I see so many wonderful books in my programs, there's a website I use more than any other for them, and it's this one. It's called abebooks.com. Have you ever used this?
I think a long time ago, yeah.
Okay, so this is a free website. You don't have to register. You can just go there and search. It's a worldwide network of sellers of used, rare, and out-of-print books. Now, because they are retailers, I tend to think that their values are kind of high. But what they have that I find helpful is they have really detailed condition reports. So you can compare the condition of your books with the books that are being offered for sale here. So we have we're just putting in keywords. It comes back with 12 copies of this book. Now it defaults to the lowest price, but if we go to the highest price, the highest price is this one, which does have a dust jacket, but it doesn't show a picture of it. Doggone it. Let's see if we can find one with a picture. There it is. There's what the original dust jacket looked like.
Oh, okay.
And it was the same thing as the picture that's on here, but it had this white background instead of this kind of dusty teal color with 24 illustrations. Remarkable true story. So what does it say about this one? First edition, fair condition. Book does have some browning and poxing. They mean foxing, foxing is a mold that grows on paper. These little brown specks, exactly. Jacket does have some tears around the top and base. They even have little, celluloid dust jacket covers that you put the dust jacket in to protect it.
Oh, wow.
Base of the book spine is now in a protected plastic cover. There you go. Black ink marking from previous owner on the opening page. They're asking $32.25 for this particular book. Let's go back here. The top price was this one right here, $250.
With the jacket.
So with the dust jacket, first edition, good condition dust jacket, Octavo blue-gray pictorial cloth stamped cover. There it is, right here. Illustrated with a frontispiece, 23 plates, a fine bright copy in good plus dust jacket, which has chipping to the tips and extremities, scarce in the dust jacket. $250. They're asking for it. So the lowest price, which was this one right here, $14.25. That's the cheapest one.
Yeah.
But from there it goes up very quickly. 25, 40. There's that one. 32, 45, 50, 80, 67, 80, $125. That's a different book. $200. No dust jacket. So, and that's for sale just down the river in Maquoketa, Iowa. So, you know, in the antiques trade, there's the talking price and there's the walking price. And all the people selling their books here haven't found the walking price yet. So I would say the walk-in price for this book, as wonderful as it is probably about $10.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
you're welcome. King of the Turf. So this is like a punch board. There looks like there's a couple of them, 3 Musketeers, all tickets. So I mean, where on earth did you get these wonderful unpunched punch boards?
Garage sale.
Really? Well, they had them in the basement for a while, I think. Look at they got the little water stain at the bottom. That one doesn't have them there. Oh gosh, Kings of the Turf. Now these are different from the ones where you have to push the numbers out. These are you just punch them right. So is this the way they were when you bought them?
Put the cellophane on
You
them,
put
but
the plastic on them.
yeah.
These look great, framed. They the more graphic they are, the more saleable they are. But the punch boards today, again, have to be complete. Now, you have to take off a little bit for the water stain on them, but these are a little bit later. These are probably 1950s. Is there a date on them? Do you know?
I didn't see anything.
Okay. Because the 1930s punch boards are often really, let's spell it right, are very graphic, and they have sports and I mean here's a 5-cent punch board, very similar to yours. Again, they just have the little round discs. In fact, I think they're almost the exact same disc, but these are 5 cent. So one's for football, one's for basketball. There's the backs of them. The pair of them sold in 2007 for $20, $10 a piece. Do you remember what you paid for them?
7? Isn't that what you said? I think she was there, and that's why I remember.
Let's go back here.
I like the horses. Man of War.
These are all 5-cent punch boards, and the more colorful they are, the more they seem to bring. Now here's the big ones, the really big, the thick ones that you punch. $3.50 for all 3 of those. We want to get the most recent ones here first.
How do they work? What do you do with them?
Well, it's just like the punch boards that you have in taverns today. You try you buy a chance to win a prize, or sometimes they get around. Some people consider it gambling. So they there's a value attached to it, either a drink or a meal or cash. They're very big in VFW and Legion halls. So I mean, here's another one, $2. Sometimes they have pretty girls with no clothing on. Those tend to bring more money.
Disgusting.
I don't know why. I have no idea why. Here's one similar to you that has 2 of them punched out.
Oh yeah.
Very similar.
There, yeah.
$10.
$10 still each, huh? They didn't
Yeah,
come up
I
in
think-
price in these few minutes.
I think $10. Yeah, yeah. Unless we want to have an auction right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Probably.
I was up in the St. Cloud library system, and a woman brought in a drill press, an old drill press, and I looked it up online. I said it's worth about $5, and a guy sitting in the front row said, "I'll buy it from you for $5," and she sold it to him right at the spot. That's never happened.
Going,
This was the
gone.
first time that it's ever happened. So anyway, I still think it was a good investment.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
Not really.
with my dad, and he must have brought it back with him. He's not around for me to
Okay.
ask.
All right, so let's
Big.
let's unfold it here. Looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's been in a box for
Okay,
ever.
so here is a map of it says the Far East, but you know it includes all of the old Soviet socialist republics. It includes Southeast Asia. It includes China, India, and it includes you know, parts of what are now, well, Persia, what's now Iran and Iraq. So I mean, this is the kind of map that probably would have been you know, they would have followed events in the war. And in fact, on the back it says the news map for the armed forces, so you could follow you know, what was happening in the world, including Manchuria. There we go, the Manchurian campaign, the Manchurian candidate. There's Mongolia. So you know, this is the kind of thing that would have been used to it would have been folded up and sold through magazines and things like that, rather than something that would have been used specifically for the war effort. What I also see a lot of are the ones that are printed on silk, that flyers actually kept in their kits, and soldiers as well, because they were printed on silk so that when if they were behind enemy lines, or if they were out, you know, in the woods somewhere, and they wanted to consult their map, they could take it out and it wouldn't make any noise when they unfolded it, because it was on silk, so it was completely silent. This, you know, it would have attracted attention. So it's a wonderful condition map, but not particularly valuable.
So it's decorative?
Decorative, yes, it's very, very decorative. Very pretty. What a fabulous needlepoint. What do we know about this?
Well, it was made by a lady that lived in town.
Uh-huh.
Her name was Grace Kraft.
Okay.
She was very civic-minded, and I'm thinking maybe 40 years ago.
I was going to say 60s. 40 years ago would be 70s, and that makes sense.
Okay.
It's in just fabulous condition. I love that Grace O. Kraft, and she's signed a GOK down there.
Yes.
That's really wonderful.
Well,
It's I mean, as people who may not know how these are created, it's quite heavy. It's on a nice, strong frame. The condition is just phenomenal. These fabric-covered spacers were all the rage in the 1960s and into the 70s. So I think that's absolutely right.
more to the story.
Okay, what's the rest of the story?
Well, about 20 years, I've had it, or we've had it for about 20 years.
Okay.
And one day we just moved into our new house, and she called me and said, I want you and Dick to come over. I have something for you. And since you two do so much in the community, she said, I want you to have this.
Well, that was nice.
And she told us about it. It's a famous painting
Mm-hmm.
that hangs in a museum in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And she went to Washington, D.C. to get the exact colors of the
Wow.
picture.
She wanted every detail right.
Yes. She did not make it for us.
No.
And she also told us it's called the Shepherd's Idol. And this is, she thinks, was me. And this was my husband. And her daughter was upset with her for giving it to us. And Grace, if you all knew Grace, she said to her daughter, well, you don't like it anyway.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and then she told us to take it home and hang it over our fireplace.
Wow. So even where to hang it in the house.
And then she may have that
Okay.
sign.
Okay.
Or plaque made.
You know, it's absolutely beautiful and in perfect condition. It's never been in the sun,
No.
as far as I can see. The condition is great. It's contemporary, however. I mean, someone would say, well, last quarter of the 20th century, if it was 1970s. And 1970s makes sense. However, having said that, the condition is so wonderful. And I wonder if she was, I think she was working from a pattern. I don't think she would have done this
yes,
freehand.
yes,
So the pattern was already on the needlepoint
Right.
fabric
Yes.
when she did the work. But she, you know, to go to DC to make sure she got all the colors right, that's really going the extra mile.
Well, truly, I don't care how much it's worth.
Okay.
I just want a value on it so my kids won't sell it at a garage sale.
For a buck, right?
Yes, because they don't like it.
Right, and you know what? I hear that all the time on the house calls that I do. Well, maybe we don't want to sell it now, but we don't want the kids to put it out at a garage sale for a buck.
Oh, no, I don't want to.
And they would too. So it's wonderful. If it was mine, I wouldn't let it go for less than. Well, let me put it this way: if you saw it in an antique shop, it would probably be about $300
Okay.
at least.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit more. I mean, then think about what your hourly rate would be for at that. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. So, thank you so much for bringing it. What a lovely little picture. What do you know about this?
I know it's very old.
Yes.
I bought it from an elderly lady at a garage sale
Okay.
at least 50 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't collect at that time, but I fell in love with it.
Okay. It is wonderful. It's about 100 years old. It's got a number mark on the bottom, which tells me that it's German. It's a piece of German porcelain. It has a transfer decoration of these two women in peasant dress. And when we talk about a transfer, it means that this picture was laid on like a decal and then glazed over. It's not hand painted. And you can look at it very closely under a magnifying glass and you can see that there may be some highlights, but mostly, well, you can see how it's flaked away just a little bit here. So it's a 100-year-old German milk pitcher, I suppose, is how it would have been used. It would have been part of a larger set that might have included a creamer and a sugar, maybe a waste bowl for putting grounds and tea bags and things like that in. And it may have been there may have been plates as well to go with it. But it's just a gorgeous little piece. Do you remember what you paid for it?
I don't. But what I liked was the irregular top.
Yeah, right. The little cutout
Right. design
on the back. That's very, very pretty. Very well. I like the handle too. That little. The fact that you got typical for many German porcelain pieces, whether it's a utilitarian piece like this or just a little statue. They did the front. They didn't do anything to the back. Not even the stripe on this side. They didn't even repeat it. Look at that. They said, "Oh well, here's the front. We're all done."
I didn't ever notice that.
Yeah, it's in excellent condition. If it was hand painted, it would probably be $100, $125. Because it's a transfer design, I would say less than half that, maybe $40 is what it's worth. No, nope.
Oh my God.
So it's
Excuse me.
yes, watch your language.
Oh, and I
It's beautiful.
treasured this.
Oh no, it's wonderful, and I hope that you will continue to treasure it.
My goodness.
But if someone would give you $40 for it today, you should get the money very firmly in your hand and smile, and then start backing up, and then run as fast as you possibly can.
My goodness.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think.
Okay.
Some pictures of the William Crooks.
The William Crooks was a locomotive.
First one in Minnesota.
Wow. So this one? No, this one. The
little one.
The little one.
Yeah.
Good heavens. And it's got Great Northern Railway on the back. So I want to take, if you don't mind, I want to take these out. Oh gosh, these are fabulous. How did you get these?
I found them in a flea market.
These are fabulous 8x10 pictures at some sort of ceremony.
I think described it as
And
it's going
there
to.
it is there. Okay, so now this is actually a press release photo because it's got what they used to call cut lines
Yep.
on the photo in the newspaper business. The pioneer comes home. Let me see if I can read this here. 78 years ago, the crooks rolled out of a shop here and sent the service to the engine. And number one, was it a narrow gauge or was it a regular?
It was a regular gauge railroad.
Okay, okay. Oh my gosh. So these are fabulous, fabulous photos. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So these are not reprints. These are old, probably press release photos from. Is there a date on here?
I think it says 39.
Yeah, 1939.
And I'm
So-
thinking I bought them as a set,
Right.
and I think this is telling the story, and I think this is where it started out in
Right.
St. Paul.
Right. Oh my gosh. They're absolutely wonderful. Well, train, especially locomotive memorabilia, is still a pretty healthy collecting area. And especially for, in this case, what they call American profile, because this engine has what's called an American profile. In England, there's a separate profile. In Europe, there's another style. So this is an American profile. American profile engine.
I'm trying to find out who these guys are that are in the photo. I'm guessing that these were the house photographer took this,
Yeah.
and these are management people of the railroad.
And that I don't think has as much value attached to it as the fact that right here, it was built in St. Paul, right?
in New Jersey, and that's what this.
Okay,
this
so it's going back to New
Jersey where it was built. Yeah.
Okay. For instance, here is. I want to just show you the most recent examples first. There are whole collections. Here is a single photograph of a locomotive that sold a month ago. How big was it? 22 by 8.5. So pretty good sized photo. That sold for $80. Just a photograph of the engine. Let's go back here. $80 for one photograph. 80. Another one. There's one from the Maine Central. $700. 110, 120. Here's a single photograph of the Rhode Island Locomotive Company. This is the builder of it. $700 for that one. So if this is something that you wanted to sell, they should be sold all together as one lot. But I think you're looking at hundreds of dollars in terms of it. What'd you pay for them?
I bought this in some of those pictures.
Yeah.
Or smaller ones.
Yeah.
They're kind of like baseball cards.
Right. Yep.
I bought some of those for like $50.
Yeah. I think that was a really good investment.
Yeah.
The old ones of the 1930s railroad photos are still very, very collectible. Thanks for bringing them.
Yeah, well, I have an interest in these. I was a locomotive engineer.
Oh, cool.
And I lived in Crookston.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of a...
Wow. If you want to sell those, I can put you in touch with someone who can help you do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
And this, I was told this is the caboose or something, or the diner car that went with it.
Yeah.
And they don't have pictures of the inside. And this is, like I say, the inside.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. They're in excellent condition.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Francis Scott Key. I've heard of him. Life and Times, Edward S. Delaplane. Wow. I'm sure that this had a dust jacket. Look at the wonderful, what they call decal edge on the pages. All those uneven edges. What a wonderful book. What do we know about it?
Not a lot. I think I got it at a garage sale.
Okay, 1937. First edition by the Biography Press. This book has been designed by A.H. Carasso and printed at the Polifon Press in Brooklyn, New York, binding by the Art Bindery of New York. So this is a book that was created by someone who loved the book binding process and the creation of books. Anytime you see this decollage page, those are very limited editions, usually very, very small runs, but they are usually very desirable. So
It's signed or autographed or something.
it's signed by Delaplane.
Yeah. Somewhere.
That's okay. Should be autographed somewhere though.
Yeah.
No, there we go.
There.
Edward Delaplane is 1953. So this is copy number 357. So that tells me that it was a really, really small run and a very special run to Elizabeth from Mom and Dad in 1988. Oh, there we go. So here we go. Let's look for this. There are 10 of them being offered for sale on the ABE book site. Let's go to the bottom here. First edition, illustrated, without an autograph, limited to 500 copies. So 357 makes perfect sense. Someone here is asking 110. I want to see if they're okay. What you also run into are reprints. So on this website, you run into a lot of reprints. Warmly inscribed and signed by the author on the limitation page, bound in ribbed Royal Navy blue, Royal Navy colored cloth with title lettered boldly in gilt on the cover and spine, printed on laid paper with town crier watermark. So somewhere on here there's a watermark of a town crier, but that's what they refer to as the decollage, the laid paper. Top edge gilt. Yes, it is gilt. Other edges untrimmed. Solid clean copy, mild toning. $100 is what they're asking for it. So also autographed by Delaplane. I don't know that this is a little bit of wear on the gilding. Maybe let's say 50. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I was wondering who belonged to that.
Three-eyed owl.
that belonged to that funny bird. Look at that.
It's looking at you no matter which way you turn.
And I bet they follow you around the room.
Mm-hmm, they do.
What a kooky piece of pottery. What do we know about it?
Nothing. I'd like to know.
It's very
where it's from or what age. I have no idea.
People always ask me where should you invest your money where it's most likely to go up in value in an antique or collectible, and I say my answer is always the same: studio pottery or studio glassware. This looks very 1960s, 1970s to me. I have a feeling that there was some mark there. That's the vent hole. But I think there was some mark. There was also something very faint there. I don't know anything about it. How do you come to have it?
Bought it at a flea market.
Okay. It's got good age. I suppose it's got to be an owl with eyes that big. I don't know if we'll find any comparable example to it. There's a lot of owls.
Yeah.
A lot of owls with a lot of eyes, but not this one. There is on Facebook, there is a American art pottery collectors page. And you could take a good digital photo and post it on there and say, hey, babe, who knows about this piece? But I think it's definitely, I don't think it's any later than the 1970s. So I think it's about 40 years old. It's pretty kooky, but I can't tell you what exactly the value is beyond decorative without seeing a comparable example. I don't think it's, I would say it's probably less than $50. However, if it turns out to be by a well-known potter, it could be conceivably more than that. In this part of the world, we're very lucky because, up north Taylor's Falls, you've got Robert Briscoe and his pottery tour every year in May. There's another one in October, I think. And people come from all over the country to go to those, and they attract all kinds of wonderful potters. So I would say 1960s, 70s art pottery, maker unknown.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
check the Facebook Art Pottery
that's a
Collectors page.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it. Here we go. What a wonderful picture in a wonderful frame too. So how do you come to have this?
It was my grandparents. He got it from his sister at their wedding in 1917.
Yes, I was going to say 1920. These horizontal photos were really popular in the first quarter of the 20th century. And I said, did I say photo? No, it's a drawing. It's a chalk drawing. And so it's pastel, and they almost always have this strongly horizontal format. This one is in just a really wonderful kind of late Art Nouveau style frame. It's signed. It looks like Rossman perhaps. There are just a handful of the artists who create these that are very collectible today. Kennedy, Chandler, and Glothar is the three names that bring the most money. This one's on the small side. I mean, I've seen them literally twice this size. This high and twice as long. So it's usually these idyllic landscapes. This one is kind of a little bit different palette. It's a little more, organic, kind of the ochres and sagey colors. Very rarely do you see them with people in them. It's usually just an idyllic landscape like this. Often this has a country road. Oftentimes it's a lake or a river with the moon, floating through the clouds, and sometimes there's a campfire in the corner. Overall, the condition is excellent. 30 years ago, you couldn't give them away, and then people started looking at them a little closer. And so the big three artists that I mentioned, they're very popular. This is a really nice one in excellent condition. Sometimes you get, because the glass and the chalk are in contact, you get a little lifting of the chalk. And that's easily taken care of. You can carefully unframe it, lift it out, or have a framer do that. Clean the glass. I wouldn't do anything with this. It's in fabulous condition. About $75.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you.
Okay.
This was on the back, glued on the back of this watercolor. That's what I'm interested in. I want to know if this was the same person that did it.
So you bought a picture, and this was the picture that you bought?
Yeah, no, that was the picture I bought, but this
Okay, and this was behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how many times I hear that story. People buy one thing and they get a second thing. Usually it's not two original works of art, though. This is a really nice little watercolor. It's an original watercolor. It's in a type of watercolor called gouache, which is a chalky, opaque watercolor. So a little alpine scene. You've got the grazing cattle and the mountains in the background, and a little alpine lodge or cottage there in the foreground. 1945 is the date on that. And you're wondering if this might be by the same artist. Right. I would say probably not. Okay. This looks like quite a bit different style. It's very folky, and by that I mean I think it was created by a talented amateur artist. This was someone who really knew how to control watercolor, which was really hard to control. The way that the snow is kind of settled on the mountainsides, and the whole wonderful foreshortening there, and it's signed. Looks like Gentallen, Gentalen, Gentallen, Gentalen. I don't know if there's any more pictures out there by this artist. You can also tell a lot by the way that an artist signs their work. That's a pretty assured signature, very stylized. I'm not getting any other in this database, at least for this one. But that's a really nice little watercolor. What'd you pay for it?
Probably $10.
$10. You did much better than that. That's $40 or $50 easily.
Okay.
This one, I think more decorative than anything else. But you know what? I think that's the $10 right there.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
Thanks for bringing them.
Thank you.
Okay. HD, and it's a hog. So I'm thinking it's a Harley Davidson hog. It's a and he's got little screws going in the bottom of his feet. Would this have been mounted on the front of a? Okay. I confess that I have never seen a fender ornament for a Harley Davidson. How do you come to have this?
Well, my boy bought an older bike.
Okay.
And it was on there, and he was going to throw them away, and I said, no, I'll keep them.
Kids, you know, what are you going to do? Now, do you think that this was something? This wasn't original equipment. Do you think?
I don't think so. I think it was an
add-on. An add-on. Have you done any research on it?
The last month I happened to look again, and I did find them.
You did find them. Okay.
They're hard to find.
There are a lot of different types of ornaments out there. So how do they refer to it? Do they refer to it as a fender ornament?
I think so.
Okay.
Chrome.
Yeah.
Fender or a Harley Hog or something.
Right.
I was just wondering if it was kind of some kind of a collectible.
You know, I think collectible is probably the best term. However, having said that, this is the kind of thing that if you got a group of Harley riders together, they would compete for this.
Somebody would want it.
Someone would really want it to put it on the front of their bike. I think that a Harley collector would gladly drop $80 or $100 for one of these. What kinds of prices did you see?
Well, I think when they were new, they were like $50.
Right, and that makes perfect sense. But this one is in just fabulous condition. I'm thinking closer to 100.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it. So it's a mixed media image, and it's signed down here by Dali. It has a blind stamp, and there's also a number here. But you know, out of all the Dali images that I've seen, this is one that I have not seen. But there's information on the back that we'll talk about. So how did you get this?
Well, very dear friend for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Had it. I think he got it from a friend.
Okay.
For a housewarming gift, and they are both deceased.
Okay.
Since, and
okay.
He wanted me to have this.
Oh,
because
that's.
He said it should be worth something.
Well, you know, that's a really nice gift. I'm guessing that this was probably framed in the 1960s or 70s. And
not the date, but the
no.
gallery.
The reason I know that, the reason I say that is if you look at the edge of the mats here, and it's double matte, see how they've started to turn brown?
Yeah.
That's a sign of what's called matte burn. Matte burn occurs when you have a mat that is not archival, when it has a high acid content. It's not the kind of thing that they would use today routinely. In the 60s and 70s, they were still using high acid mats. Now, I just want to look down here. Now, there is an embossed Salvador Dali, and it has his very cryptic signature on there. So on the back, it says David Gary Limited, Milburn, Shores, New Jersey, mixed media, Dali, and then there's some information. So a document of authenticity in this case doesn't give us a whole lot of information. But let's see here. The problem with Dali's work is that he's one of the two most faked of all the artists, and unfortunately, him and Mark Chagall, these prints are very, very fake. But in this case, if we look for a mixed media Dali, here's what comes up. There are several of these. But you know what? Some of them are bringing some pretty good money. And of course, there are stories about Dali having been taken by his creditors to the castle, and all he did all day long was he'd sign blank pieces of paper, which were then supposedly printed on later on, many years after his death. Let me see it again. So it has a butterfly, and it looks like all the world like the top of a crutch, but definitely 1970s. You know, at that point in his life, Dali was doing just about anything he could to make money.
Yeah.
You know, he had this lifestyle to support, and he needed to do this. You know, I'm going to say 400 or 500. And I can't find the exact. I mean, there's another one. It's a lithograph, and it's signed. For instance, here's one called Magic Butterfly. There's the signature down in the corner, very, very similar. There's the signature. Yeah. I'm still going to say 400 to 500. It's very toned, and I think it probably has old cardboard in the back, which should probably be removed as well. But you can save. Yeah, that's the cardboard. That's what's doing it. That's what's doing it. So that should be replaced. But you can still save that information on there. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Has everyone seen the Dali Alka-Seltzer commercial that he did? Yeah, you should see it if you haven't. Homemade meat, and there it is. So now this actually has an applied paper label. Do we know, was it made down the road? Is it Red Wing?
No, it's probably Rhode Island or Connecticut.
Really? Okay. Okay. But it does have patented February 11th, 1896. My goodness, that was nearing the end of the stoneware era. Wonderful white glaze stoneware, little brown wooden handle, very similar to Red Wing style, but it's a meat jar, and it does says mini
mincemeat.
It does say mincemeat. Okay, so this would have had a little insert, probably with a rubber gasket. So this came from Rhode Island
Or Connecticut.
Okay.
One or the other.
Okay. Okay. So the fact that it has any surviving paper label at all is nothing short of amazing. The ones that bring the most money today in this part of the world, as I'm sure you're aware, are ones that have stenciled cobalt decoration, sometimes made in Red Wing, sometimes not. But this could have been made in probably New York State, I would think, or maybe somewhere else in New England. I love the fact that it has a patent date on it, but because it doesn't have the cobalt stamp, just the paper label, and it's missing the lid, I would say less than $50. Thanks for bringing it.
Good enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was fun. That is a wonderful, funny chair. Where'd you get this funny chair?
Well, I bought it from a friend, and it's been in his family. He said his mother and his grandmother both called it a telephone chair.
Yeah, I would go along with that. The other thing, when I first saw it sitting there, I thought it reminded me of the kinds of chairs that would have been used in a photo studio, a photographer's chair.
Sure.
So someone would have been posed in this beautiful chair with a single armrest. You know, it's probably photographed, straight on like this, or at this corner. Fabulous plank seat, solid oak. That's 2 inches. That's a good 2 inches thick there. Wonderful turned legs. Little discoloration on the seat. Looks like original finish. It's got to be 1890. maybe maybe a little earlier, but I would say right around 1890. Do people still sit in it and use it and enjoy it?
Well, I haven't. The back is a bit loose. So
Okay,
I'm going to have that.
so it just needs to be glued and clamped.
Yep.
It's really unusual in that it does have the single arm. Telephone chair makes perfect sense. I don't know if that is a category. Usually, when you talk about telephone chairs, it usually comes up with like an attached little, like an end table to set the phone on. Oops. See, now there's one. There's a little one with the phone sitting off to the side with a little, almost like a writing desk.
Yep.
Writing arm Windsor. See, there's one. Very, very Danish modern. Oh, that one's pretty cool. That's very, very art modern. So, again, this could have been used as a hall chair. It could have been used as a photographer's chair. Just for fun, I'll show you with a photographer's chair. Now, there's a really fancy wicker one. There's one kind of a stick and ball design. See, a single arm. So the photographer's chair is what I thought of first. There's another one with a single arm. There's a really wild one. Look at that. Florentine. All gilt decoration. But you see how the influence is. So I would consider this a photographer's chair.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's oak, I mean, it means it would have stood up to a lot of regular heavy wear. Yep, that's what the single arm chairs look like. See, a lot of them are very, very fancy wicker.
And they all seem to have that same shape on the
And
back,
they do. Yeah, that kind of scrolly design. So I would say it's an oak single arm photographer's chair, worth today, at least $150. Thanks for bringing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You bet. More funky furniture.
This belonged to my aunt.
Okay.
Who gave it to my mother, and now I have it.
Okay.
My aunt lived in California and had worked as a private duty nurse.
Okay.
So she was frequently given gifts from her patients.
Sure, absolutely.
And this, it's written on the back there, but I also wrote this out. This came from, was purchased at the American Company store in Jerusalem.
Okay.
And part of this is off, but I have it written
Okay.
somewhere else that it came from Damascus, Syria.
Okay. It looks very Middle Eastern.
And it was purchased in January, it looks like 1929. And then
That makes sense.
it says silver inlay, tray,
Yep.
wood.
Yep. So all of this inlay that you see here on the outsides of the legs, that's bone and ebony and a little mother of pearl. This is a really fabulous bronze tray top. As you can see, it was meant to hang. There's a hanger. Very, very Islamic looking, very Middle Eastern. And they often call these hookah tables. So people would have been sitting around them with a hookah, smoking the pipes. I'll show you. But usually the tray is brass, which doesn't weigh anything. This is bronze. It weighs a ton. Here are some Syrian design tables. Again, a lot of inlay. See, they all have a lot of design elements in common. The bone and mother of pearl and abalone. Do you think we can find one with the bronze top? One more page.
It's written in Arabic too on the
Yep,
top.
it's all right. It's all inscribed in Arabic. They're beautiful. and in wonderful condition. Do you use it for anything? I mean, is it a lamp table or?
Well, I have it kind of careful with it, so
Yeah.
I don't put. I have a wood bowl I have on it.
Right,
but
right.
I'm careful about. I know some of the wear and tear on
There's
the legs
the legs are a little bit dried up. A little tongue oil or lemon oil wouldn't be out of place to keep it in good shape. So it's a kind of table that someone would have brought back as a souvenir of their visit to the Middle East in the 1920s and 30s. It's in fabulous condition. Not a tremendous amount of value, I would say less than $200, maybe $175. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing it.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Probably brought the wrong one. But
Well, that is a wonderful little choker.
Okay.
And when I say choker, I really mean it. That would have been around someone's very, very small neck. How do you get this?
It was in the family.
Okay.
The one who I got it from was a great aunt. She graduated from St. Olaf's in 1916.
Okay.
And then she went up to Two Harbors and was principal. And then she went to Minneapolis, and she ran Trabert Hall.
Uh-huh.
That was a residence for working girls, because the girls would come up from out of the state or from the state.
Sure.
And this gave them a home-like place and a safe place
okay.
to work.
Okay.
And then when she died, the niece had all the jewelry out, and I took a handful.
Okay.
So,
Well, this is a kind of a late Victorian style.
Mm-hmm.
It has a huge, big blue cabochon. It's hard to tell what the material is. I think it's ceramic.
Okay.
Rather than, because it's so lightweight.
Yeah.
If that was stone, I would expect that to be much, much heavier. Oftentimes these tiny little choker necklaces just aren't practical, but you can convert it to a brooch.
Oh.
And still wear it and enjoy it and remember your aunt.
Well, this was loose. I opened it, and then part of it broke off.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see one little break there. Yeah. That's not a big deal. Yeah. It would still look great as a brooch. Basket weave design on the back. That's a molded. It's not actually woven. So for a late Victorian little choker necklace, but with a ceramic, and I can feel that it's ceramic. It's not. Yeah. It's not glass and it's not stone. Probably $25.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing it. Okay.
Well, I do wear it.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad. Oh. It's a TV tiger.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of tiger you would have put on top of the TV set back when you actually had to get up and walk over to the TV and change the channel. I was just on a house call yesterday in Vermilion with a nice lady who had the one that we all remember, which was the Black Panther, the big black, right, on top of the TV.
I have the green one.
You have the green one. So this one is wonderfully lightweight, all hand painted, made in Japan, probably 1960s. Did you know that just down the road in Northfield is the TV Lamp Museum?
No.
I want to show you what the TV lamp. You've got to go there if you have not been there. If you like this sort of thing.
I've never even heard of that in Northfield.
It's right downtown. Carol Christensen's TV Lamp Museum at the Antique Shop.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's right downtown. It's right downtown Northfield. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Look at this. There they all are, a whole menagerie of them. And some of these are actually the lamps that light up from behind, but most of these are the Black Panthers. Okay.
I have the Green Panther.
Okay. So anyway, I mean, this is an amazing place if you have not been here. It's floor to ceiling. It's the displays of TV lamps and animals and exotic creatures goes all the way to the ceiling. So Carol Christensen is a very nice lady. I haven't seen her in many, many years. But lots of very cool stuff. Even these funky, look at those. off-center asymmetrical lamps and all that sort of thing. So anyway, it's worth a drive to go down there. But anyway, what's this tiger worth? Well, how did you get it, first off?
There used to be a thrift store in Cannon Falls.
Yes.
Over 45 years ago. I went in and bought it. I tried to talk the guy down. He had $4.50 marked on it, which
$4.50.
yeah, which
okay.
was a long time ago.
Okay.
And he wouldn't budge.
He wouldn't
so
budge.
I bought it anyway. I've tried to research it and can find nothing on it, but I did not research TV statues.
Well, that's the key word here.
Okay.
So I have a feeling, though, that $4.50 was the exact right price.
That was between 45 and 50 years ago.
Yeah, it unfortunately it has not gone up in value since then.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I love it.
Oh, I do too. I think he's pretty wonderful. If it had a little greater heft, it's so unbelievably lightweight that I think when it was new it was quite inexpensive. So Japanese and yet hand painted. Yeah, early '60s I would say. $4.50 was just the right price.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Go visit Carol in Northfield.
I will. I didn't know she was there. That's nice.
Right on the main drag downtown.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you've got all your ducks in a row, don't you? Except, oh, that's too bad.
Yes, it is.
So let's let everyone see the middle, because there is a flower frog in there. Again, also made in Japan. In this wonderful iridescent, luster, what they call it.
Lusterware.
So it's lusterware. So how did you get this?
It was my mother, my mother-in-law's.
Okay. So it probably dates just before World War II. So 1930s probably.
Well, they were married, I think, in 1919.
Okay.
And I think she had it then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. It just doesn't. It's the luster pieces like that. Some of them date that early, but I don't think this one's quite that early. However, it's early 20th century, almost an antique. It's. I love those. I love those marching geese all the way around. Unfortunately, that one break has pretty much taken away all the value. Do you have that head? You don't?
No, we don't.
No? Okay. Because it could be repaired. It could be repaired invisibly.
I think somebody tried to glue it on
at
one time.
Yeah, too bad. I don't know how many more there would be out there. So anytime you see that dusty orange color with that iridescent finish, they consider that lusterware. And we spell it L-U-S-T-E-R. A lot of times when the English made a lot of this as well, and they spell it L-U-S-T-R-E. So you have to use the English spelling to find the comparable example. There's a luster flower frog with a naked lady. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No. I don't know if we'll find anything with an R-E. Oh, a few. There we go. If it was perfect, if it was in perfect condition, I think you'd probably be looking at 80, maybe even on a good day, maybe $100 on a good day, because it's so unusual and it's figural. So anytime that something is in the figure in the shape of an animal or a person or some other creature, very collectible. Unfortunately, that break, takes away. It reminds me of the nice lady who called me up once, and she had a cookie jar that she was trying to figure out the value of, and she was describing it to me over the phone. And I said, "Is it in perfect condition?" And she said, "It's 95% perfect." And I had never heard anyone, describe it. Either is or it ain't. And this is also 95% perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for bringing it.
Yes,
okay.
thank you.
Hi, we took this set up in Alaska, and I understand it's something like baleen or something.
Okay. Okay, so that's a set of 3 graduated size little sailing vessels, and these are usually of Inuit make. We used to call them Eskimos. Now they are the Inuit. So was this in the 60s?
Yeah.
Okay. They look very 1960s to me. You know, the baleen is what the whales use to sieve the water through to get the krill to eat, so that they can eat. I've seen woven baleen pieces. I've never seen baleen boats like this. There we go. Ah, there they are. See, this is why I get the big money. There's one right there. $70. When did that sell for? When did that sell?
Just one?
2011 for one Yupik. So they were made by the Yupik, and they say they call them Eskimos. So let's get the most recent information we can. So what'd you pay for them? Do you remember?
No, but it was a lot more back then.
Yeah, there's one for 100. That just sold in August. There's another one, 50. There's one 50. There's a 4-masted one, or 3-masted for sale, 170. There's a 2-mast, 80.
They actually sold for that?
They did. They actually did. So, I mean, and these are in just spectacular condition.
What's the sail made out of? Is it? It's not baleen, is it?
No.
I wonder what it is.
It could be. It could be like some kind of treated, like intestines or sinew.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's translucent. What does it say? What does it say in the descriptions here? What does it say they're made of? Here, let's look at this. Antique toy baleen boat. Baleen and whale tissue. It doesn't say. It doesn't say what else. But so I think these are all in fabulous condition. I think you got about $200 worth of boats there.
Okay.
Yeah.
One's owned by Winston Churchill.
Oh wow.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. If you have fingernails?
Just I'll give it a try.
You have to
give it a try.
You have to coax it open. There you
just
go.
actually just have to pop it.
Oh, sorry.
You just press the button. Just press the top.
Okay.
So here we have a wonderful. Looks like it's a gold medal. I'm probably almost certainly plated. It's got like pronghorn mountain goats there, German.
17 jewels, so it says.
Yep. Andre Rival, 17 jewel, shock protected. So what do you know about this?
I know I got a good price on it from a pawn shop, but that's about it.
Okay. It's not an antique. I mean, it's not.
No, I didn't
it's
think
not.
it.
No, I mean you can tell when they have that shock proof on the front there.
Right.
It has a kind of an engine turn design on the inside. Can I ask what you paid for it?
I paid approximately $20.
Yeah, I think that was still a pretty good buy. They call this
the owner. I wasn't sure about the maker of it, how important he was on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see what. I mean, it looks like it's keeping good time.
It does. It does. It works fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
so
a stem one.
It does that. Now some of these you'll find the stem at 3. This one, the stem is still at 12. When they moved it to 3, they found it was just easier to set it.
Oh, from the side,
from the side. So, let's see, Rival, Andre Rival, Rivalle. Let's see. Now, does the back also open?
No.
Okay.
Well, I haven't tried to open it. I don't think so.
I did not see a nail, a thumb catch there.
No.
Well, there's one there. Swiss 17 jewel with like an open skeleton face.
Right.
That sold for 30.
Right.
There's another one, 55.
Mm-hmm.
There's one for 90. What does the case on this one look like?
Kind of like mine.
This has a farmer. You know, it looks like he's like harvesting the wheat there. $90. When did that sell for? 07. Don't know if you could get that for it today. Let's get the most recent information here. What gold fill? What's the case on this one look like? Yeah, yours is a little fancier. This one sold for $100 a year ago May.
All right.
So, and yours is in great running order, so I think you got quite a good buy there.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
thank you.
Oh, I like that a lot. Let's turn it around so our audience at home can see it. There they are. So, what do we know about this pretty picture?
I know nothing about this.
Okay. So it's we were talking earlier about when I was looking at one of the big picture of the boat. Right. What I want to see is impasto, and this has great impasto, which is the weight of the paint on the surface. In this case, it's almost like a burlap. Great textured, and there's it looks like, what could that name be? Artis, 1959, looks like.
I've tried to Google it. I have not found anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's done by an artist with an experienced artist with a really wonderful stylized signature. If that is a T, let's just see. So, most of the databases that I use, many of them, are free websites. Some that I use are subscription websites. Now, for instance, Ask Art is the one that I use more than any other for fine art. This is a subscription site, but it costs me less than $1 a day to use this on a yearly basis. Another good one is artprice.com. Which has a lot of the same information, but also it's a European site, so it has a little bit broader range. But between the two of them, it costs between $500 and $600 a year, which for me is a really good investment. So in here, if we look for ARTIS, there's a William Artis, there's a Sherlock, and there's an Artist Lane.
Do you think that this looks like the word Ryer or R-I-E-R? I cannot figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
I chase my tail around about what
the
subject matter is even too.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it is.
It looks like a Northern European castle scene. So how did you get it? How'd you get
It
it?
was a gift from a friend who had been given it by someone who was like a amateur art collector in New York.
Yeah. I mean, there are websites where you can find an artist's signature, but those are usually subscription sites as well. It's very well done. I really love the texture of it. I love the palette. I think it's. I wish I could tell you who the artist is. It's from 1959, so it's really not that old. The artist may still be with us. But I really like it a lot. I would say, if you saw it in an antique shop, a couple hundred. I would say at least a couple $100. So nice picture. You're welcome. Great, very pretty, very pretty, very Czech. I would have guessed.
Bulgarian.
But same difference.
Is it?
Oh yes, absolutely. So we have a teapot, we have a sugar bowl, we have cups and saucers, and there's on the bottom. Yep, made in Bulgaria, right? Kind of 1920s design, a little Art Deco. How do you come to have this?
Well, I'd say about 20 years ago, I saw a picture of some plates with this kind of design on it, and I really liked it, so I tore the page out of the magazine. I literally kept it for 20 years. Just looking in all my comings and goings, if I could find some for myself.
Sure.
It took until last year, about a year ago right now, in an antique shop in St. Paul, and I saw this set. you know, it was getting close to Christmas time. And
Yeah.
I figured, you know.
Who
hey,
deserves it more than you? Nobody.
I got this coming to me.
Nobody. Nobody.
I've been looking for a long time.
Yeah.
So it was my Christmas gift to myself.
Oh, it's
last year.
beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, have you ever used it to serve tea?
I won't.
So it's
no.
really just decorative.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm too afraid of breaking it. You know.
Um,
I waited 20 years for it. I'm not gonna break it.
The design is really typical of what you would expect to see from a Czech, and then that says Bulgaria, but Eastern European, Czech or Bohemia.
I actually think I know the pottery.
Okay.
Where I believe it's Troyan or Troya,
Okay.
Troya,
Okay.
which is in the country in Bulgaria. You know.
Okay.
A country pottery in Bulgaria, because it's a known thing, you know. So
This design,
yes.
right? This wonderful drippy glaze.
Yeah. Just the colors of this
Yeah.
set are really pretty.
Yeah, and it's redware. I mean, this was not a a high-fired piece. It was meant to be. It was really, I think, more decorative than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I hardly think it looks hardly used. You know. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's absolutely beautiful. But if you look up redware teapots, you see so many different variations with this wonderful drippy glaze.
Yep.
No, that's kind of a Bennington design. It's almost a squeeze bag, what they call a squeeze bag design, because the glaze is applied so heavily. So you saw it in the antique shop and you had to have it.
I did.
And you reached into your wallet and you pulled out how much money to buy it?
$65.
$65. I think that was a very fair price. Again, these gorgeous pieces usually are not meant to be, to stand up to regular heavy wear. Once in a great while, you can use them to serve tea, I would think. But it's just this fabulous, kind of like what they call a pulled feather design. Oh yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful. I like how right opposite the handle, there's one that's pulled down further. Did you see that? Although it's kind of irregular.
Yeah.
It's kind of irregular. Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
there's
Right.
I don't know if this had a lid at
Uh-huh.
one point, or if there was a creamer.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lip, so I don't think that it had. I'm sure it had a creamer once upon a time, but it doesn't have a lip on it, so it may not have had a lid to set inside. But I think you could easily find a set like this for about $100. So.
Well, it isn't that easy to find.
No.
However,
no.
If you found it, it wouldn't.
Well, that's why I'm saying if you saw it I wouldn't be surprised to see it for $100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't haven't run across it. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for bringing it.
Yep.
Definitely late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, good to know.
Well, I just brought some jewelry.
Okay.
And it's an amethyst necklace.
Okay.
And then a cameo.
Okay.
And earrings.
Okay. So the amethyst necklace is beautiful, wonderful setting, all faceted. So this would have been part of a suite of jewelry. I wonder if this is the same.
I was looking. It's not quite the same.
It's not
color,
quite
is
the
it?
same, is it? No. And there should be variations in amethyst like this. But I have a feeling that this may have belonged to someone who really liked amethyst, but may have been part of another set. So let's look at the cameo.
Okay.
The amethyst is very nice, but not a tremendous amount of value there. So let's look at this. Nope. So this is a typical shell cameo, and it shows a woman with a flower in her hair and a kind of a Roman Greek or Roman style. It's a little filigree, probably a low carat gold. So there are three types of cameos. There's this one, which is the shell cameo, which is the one that most people see. It's they call it the helmet shell, and they cut the sections off of it on the top. It's this white color, and when they get down below it, it gets this kind of salmon pink color below that. So this is late Victorian. This is probably about 1880. Did you know where these came from? I mean, do you know the history behind these?
They were my husband's grandmothers.
Okay.
And she had a lot of relatives in Winona, and I think
Okay.
that's probably where she inherited those from.
So the shell cameo is the most common, the one I see more than any other. The other kind is called hard stone. It's called pietra dura, hard stone, and those are the most complex and also the most expensive. And then the last kind is lava. They actually, most of it has come from the sides of Vesuvius in Naples, and so they go out and they carve lava, and it has a kind of an organic look to it. So we have a late Victorian cameo. With a filigree mount. Now sometimes these can be worn as a brooch or as a pendant. This one doesn't have the little holder at the top that you would have been able to mount it as a pendant. Here's a really pretty one. And again, this was 2013, but if you look at the woman in kind of a classical dress with a little filigree around the outside. Now this was sold as part of a lot with a really fabulous aesthetic movement locket, a little cultured pearls brooch, a pocket watch, and I don't know what that is. It looks like an Art Nouveau stick pin. It is a little stick pin. And this whole set sold for $500. Of that, I think probably the aesthetic movement brooch and or locket and the pocket watch were probably, at least a couple hundred, maybe another 150 here, 350. At most, I would say probably $125 for the cameo, which is still, in the world of cameos, is still a pretty good price. Let's take the filigree off. See, there's a pair that sold for 150 pounds. The pound last time I checked was, well, it's dropped dramatically. It was about $1.22. The euro is down to about $1.11.
Boy.
Yeah, I mean, really dropped. Again, here's a beautiful pair, 100 pounds, so let's call it $125. I just want to show you some of the incredible detail that some of these, look at that.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Also probably in a low carat gold mounting. That sold for almost $400. So I would say or 350 pounds, excuse me. So more like $500. But the classical, the woman with the flowers in her hair, that's probably the most common.
It's not the prettiest cameo I've ever seen.
No.
It's
no. I mean, here's one.
Something I wouldn't have picked out.
Right, late Victorian shell cameo, sold for $60 or almost $100. So.
Well,
It's
anyway,
beautiful.
so this isn't
the amethyst.
I can wear it and not worry about it.
You can absolutely wear it, and
Okay.
because this is probably carved, but these are all just glass.
Oh, they are?
Right. Yep.
Do you think that is real amethyst?
I think that is a real amethyst, but the necklace itself, the strand those
just
are glass.
beads.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
coming. You bet. Oh my. What a wonderful image. Again, a fabulous pastel drawing of a Native American. A man or woman? Do we know?
It's a Dakota elder.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. Grace McKinstry. I confess I am not familiar with her work, but looks like she died in Minneapolis, 1936, born 1857, Fredonia, New York. How did you get this wonderful image?
My mother was born in October 26th, 1929. 3 days later, the world got the word and all the stock markets crashed and the depression happened.
Right.
Which I blame on her. And her godmother was the wife of the first judge in Minnesota Territory. That would be Anna Scott Buckham.
Okay.
And Anna Scott Buckham was a very good friend with Grace McKinstry,
okay,
who was primarily a portrait artist.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know whether my mother's godmother purchased this from Grace or was given it as a gift. But
it's a wonderful, evocative portrait.
Yes, my mother was given this as a gift from her godmother,
Okay.
Anna Scott Buckham.
Okay. So
it was done over on the Straight River.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, we don't know the elder's name.
Have you done any research on McKinstry's work?
As I said, McKinstry was a fairly well-known portrait artist. She made her living doing portraits of debutantes and young couples at their weddings and so on, and the old people doing these portraits.
Uh-huh.
But very rarely she would deviate from that and do something like this or a landscape or something else. So her work other than portraiture is very rare. And this being with a Native American subject where we can identify based on the provenance that I have and
Right.
the history was done over on the Straight River, we know he's a Dakota elder. But as I said, we don't know his clan or his family
Right.
or his name.
In this database, there are three auction records for McKinstry's work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is of an Indian.
Really?
Yes, Indian with a red headband, measures 14 by 12, so a very comparable size. No, it's an oil on board. Wow, 20 years ago, March 2nd, 1996 to be exact, it sold for $437. Now, that's just one database. There's another portrait here of a woman, 500. That was in 2001, and another portrait, 550. So her work is recognized. But I want to check this other database to see if there is more. Are there more values for her work here? So hold on just a minute.
It would be rare. With most of her work in portraiture, I would surmise that families would keep those. Anything that was sold would be relatively rare.
Right. Yeah, see, this one only has, her middle name was Emma Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Grace Emma Jean McKinstry. This just one has just two paintings here. Let's see here if the same two that we saw. Woman painting in a landscape, that was €396. We want dollars, $550. Here's another one. Portrait of Donna McKinstry. Oh, that's the one that we saw on the other one. This one right here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Just for kicks, let's see if there's any that come up in this database. Because of the nature, there's a few. There's one attributed to Grace McKinstry. This is interesting. Oil on board. The lesson. That's by Grace.
Mm-hmm.
So she did feature Native Americans. I love this. Teaching on the stretched skin there. Let's go through here. G.A. McKinstry, 1907. So that was, if she was born in 50, yeah, I mean, she would have been 50 years old when she did that one.
Yeah, and this one isn't dated.
Yeah, yeah, and this one's oil on board, and that sold in 2012 for $1,200. But see, that one did not come up in either of those other subscription-based databases.
I think you'll find that Native American themes in Europe go for extraordinarily ridiculous prices.
Yeah, well, and especially the Germans. The Germans have always been fascinated by the American West.
Yes.
For the last couple hundred years. Now, there was one other one by Grace there, a small portrait that this one right here sold at Christie's for $750. There we go. Tiny little thing.
Yeah, that's the work that she's most known
10 by
for.
7. Yeah, so I mean, I think probably, I would say $700 or $800 for years.
I suspect with the right buyer we could get 3 times that, particularly if I took it to Europe.
Oh, you don't have to take it to Europe. You know, there's the internet has broken down all those barriers.
I understand.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's not for sale.
Right.
It's the story for the family is most important.
Yep.
And my grandchildren will get it.
Good. Thanks for bringing
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
My old Bible is getting
Shedding.
dirty.
Yeah.
Yes.
That tends to happen. So, an old German Bible. Norwegian. Okay.
Old Norwegian Bible.
Yep.
From 1857.
Yep.
And Marguerite Pedersen. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right.
Okay.
But on the Fossum family tree.
There it is.
Marguerite is here.
Uh-huh.
And then my grandfather is John Fossum.
Okay.
And I'm actually listed right there.
There you go.
And so I've got a whole box of Bibles.
Sure.
Different family names are written in them.
1857 really is that would have been, you know, the prime time when the thousands of immigrants were coming to this country. But it's not a particularly old Bible. Some of the Bibles I see are from the 15th and 16th centuries.
Oh wow!
And the Bibles that bring the most money today have what are called illuminated pages. An illuminated page has been hand decorated with colors.
Okay.
Usually it's on a material called vellum, which is an animal skin. It lasts forever. So are there any engravings in this book? Do you know? Pictures? Okay. Okay.
Not that I've remembered.
I want to show you what an illuminated Bible page looks like. And it's not just the Bible. You also find illuminated pages in the Torah, also in the Quran.
Ooh, okay.
So here is a single manuscript page from a Flemish Bible. And as you can see, all this decoration up here, top to bottom, with the large capital initials. And this is on vellum, on animal skin. It will last forever. That's the page sold in 2008 for $3,000 for one page. So, and that tradition, also, follows in documents like the German American, the Frachters, which are often wedding announcements, birth and death certificates, things like that. I mean, here's a really fabulous. I've never seen anything like this one. This is in German. Look at that.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the lobster is for, but these are all hand decorated. And again, these were created by monks. Look at the multiple pages here. Wow. So this whole collection of illuminated pages, and I think it's also on vellum, medical, astronomical prognostications, calendar months, etc. That whole collection sold for £55,000, or about $70,000. So it's a wonderful old book, and I'm so glad that you have your family history there. But today, sentimental value only. Yeah. And coming up at Thanksgiving, you know, if a little child needs to sit up a little higher, that would be a great, you know, and very personal way to do that. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay.
You bet.
I'm detecting a theme here.
We're cleaning out our attic.
Oh my. That has got to be the Cadillac of strollers.
Isn't it nice?
Holy moly. Well, what's the story behind these two pieces?
We were working in Germany in the early 70s. And we had our 3 children over there. And so we bought these in Germany, in Hunter.
My goodness.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it really is.
It has a brake on it.
Sure.
This comes off, you can fold it down.
Yeah, holy mackerel. Well, let's start with the crib, and just by the design, you can tell that it's not an American design. It just has a little bit more going on. The good news is that these are not drop side cribs, which are of course outlawed now. But you know, they can still get the job done. The thing is that most cribs this size are used today to display, you know, teddy bears and dolls and things like that. And so this dates what, 60s?
I would think so. I bought it in 70.
Okay. And it was used, yeah. It looks very 60s to me. It's in, you know, wonderful condition. And again, I mean, it would still be a great little crib. I like the fact that it's so low.
This can lower down too.
Sure.
There's 3 different
Yeah.
levels
Oh, okay.
That can drop down one
Okay.
more, or it can come up one.
I see that. I can see the holes in the corners. It's probably 80, maybe 100 on a good day for this one. But this, I mean, this is a work of art. Look at the chrome fenders. I was about to say rubber baby buggy bumpers, but I won't. Gosh. Wow.
There's a name on it.
I see that.
And I
yeah.
had a hard time trying to
It's
figure
real.
out
It's very scrolly in German, so tough.
It's like HAN, TON, something like that. But it has. Yeah.
You know, I mean, here to compare. Here is a. This was used as a movie prop in the movie Big Eyes by the actress Amy Adams, which is the story of Bill Keane, who took all the credit for his wife's pictures of the big-eyed children. In fact, she was the one who did it. But now look at this one, 1970s Perigo chrome stroller. See, very close. Very close. $30. Isn't that sad?
$30.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't either. These two did not sell, and this one is even closer, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Marmot. Yeah, see? Look at it. Very similar. So, I mean, if these are things that you want to sell, and you know, someone comes up to you and you're having a garage sale, and you roll this out into the garage, I wouldn't price it less than $150, and that'll give you some room to maneuver. If someone offers you 80, I would probably take it, but start at $100.50 or $100.25 and see what kind of. I mean, it's a work of art. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's in good shape, so if anybody gets it, it's ready for use.
Yeah.
I won't need it anymore.
Well, good. Good. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks for bringing it. Okay. Okay.
I found it in our attic
Okay.
when I was a girl.
So this is just after the crucifixion, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. It's of course it's a very dramatic scene, and it's one that's been reproduced many, many times. It's had a hard life.
It has.
Yeah.
That's why I put it in this frame.
Yeah,
because I want to preserve
and
it.
two things. One, the condition is tough. It's been well loved, but it's had all the value loved right out of it. The other thing, the fact that it has a religious connotation, when viewed from a monetary standpoint rather than a devotional standpoint, it's just a tough sell. So I'm glad that you rescued it and put it in a nice frame. Because of the condition, because it has such significant damage. Just devotional value only, sentimental only.
Correct.
No monetary value.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you very
You bet.
much.
This, two things. This
Okay.
one is from my husband's mother, and it's dated on the back.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Very nice. $1942. I would have said a little earlier. So it's a wonderful little gesso mirror. Gesso is just a fancy word for plaster. And so all of this molded decoration you see here on the wood is gesso. Then they gild it. They put a little gold paint on it. These were very rarely beveled. Usually they were not beveled mirrors. They were just flat like this one. Does this still hang on the wall in your house?
Yes, it does.
Yes, so it still functions for its intended purpose to let you know how you're looking going out the door.
Well, I try not to use it very often.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that shouldn't affect the silvering on the screen. It's a beautiful little thing. If you saw that in an antique shop, it would probably be about $35.
In the back it says, for Portia Corbin, came from old Uncle Young's estate in Simcoe, Canada, to us when we were married in 1896.
Okay. Well, see, I thought
wrong.
the turn of the century is absolutely the right date.
Yeah, it's they died in the late 80s. I had a new mirror inserted.
Oh.
So the original is from 1896.
Yeah. Well, you'll never wear that mirror out, no matter how often you look in it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's not the reason. I'm not trying not to look at it.
Okay. Okay.
You want this up there?
They can see it.
Plug it in?
Solid marble.
Yep. Yeah.
One piece, except for the top here. Put
Right.
the top on.
Any damage?
Only to
This
that.
is the only
Yeah.
damage, and that's
Yeah.
from having a bulb in there that's too hot.
Right, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't realize that these were not designed to stand up to a 100-watt bulb. So these
There's a name on the back of the carpet.
okay, they're all made in Italy. These were often purchased by people who were on the Grand Tour. So the Grand Tour was when people in the 19th century, they got on a steamboat and they went off to Europe and they visited all the European capitals, and then they would go to the Mediterranean and they would visit Italy and North Africa and the Middle East, and they would bring back wonderful souvenirs like this, or they would commission them. There were studios doing these all the time, all year round, and then you could go to the studio and say, well, I like the lamp of the woman standing by the post, and then they'd carve it up. When you got back home from the trip, there she was waiting for you. So they are marble, but usually a combination of marble and alabaster. And the alabaster tends to be a little yellower than the marble.
Now, this was purchased when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
From the former sheriff of Ramsey County in St. Paul.
Okay.
He was there at the time of the Depression, and his house had bars on the window. And we bought it from his widow when we bought the house, when my dad bought the house. So this could be easily 100 years old.
Oh yeah, it's about 1890. It's about 1890. Now, sometimes they came on their own pedestals. If you look at the monitor, there she is on her own pedestal, right there.
Wow.
Okay, but sometimes, and there's the vent hole on the top of the shade. That's the least important part of it. So don't worry about having it broken. Now, with the pedestal and everything, they call these newel post lamps. So these often sat at the bottom of a huge staircase on the last post, which was the newel post, and so you had this big showy marble lamp at the bottom of the stairs. So this one sold with the pedestal for $6,000. So there were many, many variations of these. Here's one, marble and alabaster figural lamp. What is it? Look at that.
Oh, that looks just like her.
That one's very similar, including right down to the flowers in her lap.
Yes.
Right there.
Except for glass.
So they just, and that's just a later edition. How tall is she? 34.5 inches. Well, you know. Now she sold in 2013 for $750. Oh yeah, it's all of 1890. Here's another one, marble and alabaster. You see the alabaster tends to have a little bit more of a yellowish tone. But there's the big.
So the alabaster is the rock she's sitting on.
I think so.
And her. And this is the marble.
It's a mix. It's a mix of two different stones.
Because as far as I know,
Yeah.
this is one piece.
Right.
Up through here. So
Right.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Yep.
pieces.
Yep. So let's look at one more. So some of them have multiple figures, as you can see here. For instance, these are almost caryatids, which are human figures that then become architectural supports. That sold for $850. $450, $700. Look at the color of this one. Pretty wild.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why she brought $2250. Yeah, well, that was 10 years ago. I don't think you could get that for it today. For instance, this one is coming up for sale. So even with the damage to the top,
I think that's the name that's on the back. Enrico.
the Castellucci, Enrico Castellucci, late 19th, early 20th century. That would coincide with the Grand Tour. Yeah. Yeah. So again, this website, liveauctioneers.com, is a free website. Anyone can use it. You just have to register to get to the values. But that one that we were just looking at, that's going to be offered for sale in 10 days by John Moran Auctioneers. No relation. He's in Pasadena, California. But they're usually this beautiful, beautiful Carrara marble. Here's one with a very fancy shade. This one sold in May of this year. So, even with the damage to the top piece, I think, 800 to 1,000, I would think.
That's nice, thank you.
As long as the figure and the base are in good, the top piece, that's very minor.
She hasn't been moved very often.
I'm
because
sure.
She's very heavy.
Well, you have all my admiration for bringing her in today.
When I told him what we were bringing, he said, "Do I have to?"
That's where a good
nice
furniture
about doing.
a good
Yes,
furniture
correct.
dolly comes in handy.
Yep.
Well, that was the perfect big finish.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for still being here.
Thanks for coming.